Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
And I am Rungren. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Like Riker.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
So, as usual, we have a show that we do every
Yeah.
week, and it starts with a quiz.
Yes.
It's
I
nothing.
got some.
Just started.
I've got some questions about time.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
All right. See how you
It's a song written by NF.
All right. All right. Here's the first question about one of everybody's favorite things. Who conceived the idea of daylight savings time?
Who conceived the idea? I'm going to say...
But who?
Trying not to look at chat. I'm going to say...
One person.
Alexander Hamilton. It seems like one of the things that he...
Nobody's right. It's Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, that also seems like something he would do.
All right.
Some guy
Give me
named
50-50 on this one, all right?
Okay.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin. Got skeletons in his closet and in his basement and in his floor. True or false? The long case clock was known as just that until a song called My Grandfather's Clock came along in 1875 and inspired the name change. So
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, was it true that it used to be called a long case clock and not a grandfather clock until a song came along?
I want it to be true, so I'm going to say true.
You know what? It's true.
Yes.
It is true. I'm going through that. A little invention history here. Levi Hutchins was credited with what startling invention in 1787? Yes. Invention created in 1780. Startling invention in 1787.
Cuckoo clock.
Not quite.
That
was actually developed before.
Okay.
All right. It's the alarm clock.
Remus, I think that answer would get us both thrown out in person.
Hey, true or false? Friday the 13th occurs once every 13 months.
I think that's false.
That is false. But you can be sure that whenever the first of any month is on a Sunday, there will be a Friday the 13th that month. Hey, good job. Good job so far. That was number 4. Here's number 5. Just a yes or no is all I need. Is in a jiffy an actual measurement of time?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is 1/100th of a second. Not bad. Not bad. Got that on there. Good guess.
I know that for the dumbest reason.
Okay.
I was trying to remember the actual measurement, but I know that because of a TV show called Liberty's Kids.
Okay. Well, at least you knew it. Let's see how this going. I had another pop quiz coming out, and I kept writing down my questions and answers. I was like, yeah, we're going to do another one. Yeah, that last one would have been tough.
That's fair.
It's a random fact. Right on. That's what science is, just plethoras of random facts. All right. So where is the Great Westminster Clock?
I feel like this is a trick question, but if I don't say Westminster Abbey, I'm gonna feel like I failed myself.
Yeah, where is that?
In the UK?
Oh.
Let's go with.
Name the one city in the UK you know.
Know a few. Gloucester?
Right.
Not in London, right? It's in Gloucester.
It's in London.
Is it really?
Big Ben is the bell that's in that clock. The Great Westminster Clock is a clock. Big Ben is the bell inside it.
No.
Big Ben is not the clock. Oh my gosh.
Come on, Trey. That's a fair. Come on, Trey. That one's fair. I don't know why I thought it was in Gloucester.
Okay, I don't know either. Just so you can sound cool saying the name Gloucester.
It is a good name.
I know more than London.
It is a good name.
Excellent, Dark. Excellent. I don't know
if we count that first one, but I'll give you that you definitely have a lead now.
Okay. It's kind of a little bit longer question.
Okay.
Nicknamed for the timepiece they carried during each robbery, this infamous gang had a record heist of $283,000 from a San Diego Bank of America branch in 1980. Can you name them?
Pocket Watch Gang?
No. 1980. That's a good guess.
Yeah, we had the same line there.
Faith, those are not good people. Not that these are robbers. Those are not good people.
Yeah.
It's not them. Okay. You're close. It was the Stopwatch Gang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's how they would know how much time. The Anthill Gang, the Anthill Mob. Yeah, that's Charles Manson's group.
Also the group from the Wacky Racers.
Yeah.
Which is, in hindsight, an unfortunate name choice for the group from the Wacky Racers.
Yes. I'm sure you were. Might be the Anthill Gang for that. Okay. Real simple one here. Just so we can get cleared out, we're talking about other stuff. How long is a fortnight?
Fortnight is... Oh, I'm going to get this one wrong. It's either 8 days or 12 days. I'm going to say it is... I'm going to say 12 days.
It is 14 days, 2 weeks exactly. Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking 12.
I don't either. I don't question why you're thinking stuff anymore. It's just... All right. So, got a couple more here. Couple more. Gotta get through this. In 1939, the powers that he figured that time is money. Okay, so in 1993, the powers that be figured that time is money. So they instituted the minimum wage. In 1939, how much was the minimum wage per hour?
50 cents.
No. Half that. It was only 24 cents. Yeah, 25 cents. Yes.
Okay.
25. No, it's 25 cents. Sorry, okay. I don't know why I said 24. My bad. Yeah. 25 cents an hour.
I thought I was lowballing it with 50. I was hoping for $1.
You after 4 hours.
I bet they were hoping for $1 too.
50 cents in taxes. So 8 hours for $1 after taxes and everything, basically. Ugh. Yeah, that was
Dark. We can't give you the first one without giving me the first one too. Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin are both part of the U.S. government.
No. They are two different people.
They are, but they were both part of the
government.
One
invents, the other one raps. I've study your history. That.
I will take 6-4 though. That is a number I will.
He did. Franklin invented the stove.
I did not say the president. I said Alexander Hamilton was never president. He was disgraced.
He lost the duel.
Yep.
All right, your last question. William Jonathan Drayton Jr. is known for having a big timepiece draped around his neck. You know him better by his stage name. What is it? You may not know him at all.
It's the guy with the big clock around his neck.
Thank you, Dark. Yes.
I can see him in my head. I don't know his name. I'm gonna guess.
Do you know what rap group he was part of?
Nope.
I'll give you another. No? Okay.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Dr. Clock.
No, it's Flava Flav.
Okay.
And he was part of the rap group Public Enemy with Terminator X.
Right.
Terminator X1, boost. How low can you go? They're like, don't want to know. They did a crossover with Anthrax. It's called Bring the Noise. It's good.
Okay. 7-4, Dark, or 8-5. They were both part of the government.
Benjamin Franklin never held elected office.
Ooh. So actually, Dark was just wrong.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying. I don't know what criteria y'all are using. All I know is that no matter what the score is, you lost.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay.
Hamilton was aide to George Washington before he cheated on his wife.
Oh my god.
Then he got put in charge of the banks, and that's a whole different discussion that probably shouldn't have happened. But anyway, they're all dead now.
Don't start acting like you know history now. We've got the pop quiz. I got proof.
There was no way I was going to get Flava Flav. If I had known that one, I would have been surprised.
Right. Well, it's the way it goes. You got yeah.
It's fun. I personally, even if every week shows my incompetence, I love the pop quizzes. I think they are a vital part of this problem.
Excellent. Excellent. That's right. I'm keeping score.
He's like chat likes them too. So. Talking about keeping score, you ready to talk some Turn A Gundam?
Yeah. Turn A. Turn A. Turn A. Turn. What a weird. Yeah. And look, this is the weirdest Gundam. Because it's like, okay, it turns out if you take Studio Ghibli and mix it with Gundam, you get a Final Fantasy story with giant mechanical robot suits.
So last week we finished Gundam X.
Yes. Yeah, last week we finished Gundam X. Going through that. Yes.
I love Turn A. Turn A is my favorite Gundam.
Turn A is bizarre. Like, and there's no doubt he got with his friend who owns another little studio to get to put this together. Not only art wise, story direction wise, setting, just so much. And then they tell the guy to write the opening theme for it, and they told him that James Bond was going to be riding in the Gundam, and that's where you get the opening theme.
That OP is really good. Turn. I agree. There's so many scenes in Turn A that are absolute gold, but make no sense if you don't have any bit of context, right? Yeah. Like I love Turn A. So good.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. There's lots of little things in it. This is a 1999 anime. It was released. listen to the score in it, you're going to hear much more guitar than you ever heard. Guitar kind of, even though, uh, even though the '80s were the time for like flashy guitar, guitar kind of had a renaissance as being like an everybody instrument.
Right.
In the '90s, and you hear a lot, and some of it's like that clean sound with the big reverb and stuff on it. That's a '90s.
Yeah.
'90s sound right there. It is.
Love it.
Turn, hey, turn.
It really feels like an homage to like the early 70s anime openings, which were just that. They were swanky, right?
Yeah.
It's so good. And then the art is incredible. The music is great.
I think so. They've taken in some ways, it's a much more simplistic art style, but it looks so much cleaner.
Yeah. I really love it. Yeah, that's the way all of them were in the 70s, Dark. That's
yeah. Yeah. Okay. What else?
I love it. That was in my childhood. We were too poor to be able to have cable television. We watched VHSs that were bought in bins, and that was the way that those all were. It was like coming home. No, I like the characters a lot, with the exception of Sochie. I think all of the characters are really cool and interesting.
Yeah, she's pretty annoying.
Yeah, she's the only character in that entire series that I can't stand.
Moon people. Ugh. Icky poo moon people.
I really like Diana and Kjelheim. I really like Meishe. I really like Gwen Lineford. Love Harry Ord. And Laurent Seahawk is, in my opinion, the best Gundam protagonist. Give him a lot.
I am a Gundam.
For some of the crap you've had me sit through, this I'm not too bad about this one.
Yeah. I disagree. I love them all. Keith is pretty great. I like Keith a lot.
Yeah.
Blame this on the misfortune.
A lot of, but like I said, Keith is a character who could be straight out of Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
He could have been in, Kiki's Delivery Service.
I really like that he's, I guess, like light spoilers, I guess. There always is, but when we talk about Gundam. But I love that he is the first one that's willing to just straight up sell the flat to be able to try and support the family that has taken him in.
Yeah.
Really good.
They're moon people, but they're still human.
Yeah.
And they want to help humans.
I love the little touches, too. Like the weird way that everything runs when you see pictures taken from the newspaper girl, as has been mentioned here, by Dart. Yeah. It always flips the image upside down to show you that's the way the picture was taken in the camera. You know, it's little details like that. Tomino, when he's on his game, pays attention to those little details in a way that matters. When he's not on his game, pay way too much attention to details that don't matter.
When he is co-writing a story with the director, the head of Studio Ghibli, and I know he's not credited on there, but come on.
They are friends.
Come on. That's not him.
Well, it's important to mention.
Back there going,
go ahead.
Hey, when the first cameras came out, they did it like this. When the first gasoline cars, they looked like this and rode like that. That's all. He is killing everyone. See?
That's true. It is important to mention that the novel is very different, and you see that in a lot of ways. The people that handled the storyboarding are not Tomino himself, and I think they did a fantastic job translating his book to the screen.
Yeah. Maybe. All right. I don't know. I don't read the novels. I'm just watching the cartoons.
They're angry, Dark. They've had parts of their home taken from them. Desperate.
Why?
I'm not saying they're smart.
And that's exactly why you don't get to call down for people to move. Okay?
Yeah, don't misunderstand me and say that I'm saying they're smart. I'm saying I think it makes sense from their perspective to do whatever they can. I like Turn A.
Props were bombed. It's there. No way. No way.
I like
You
both
heard
sides.
that one guy? They were cowards who left.
Yeah, I mean, that I think actually that's an argument that should have been pushed further by the Earth group early on. The argument of like, hey, we stayed to fix the Earth. You left.
Yeah.
We did all the hard work. Well,
If nobody was using it, why did they blow up their crops to cause a food shortage?
yeah. Why are there loose cows and empty houses and
Yeah, the artillery, the classic artillery and ballistic weapons are kind of meaningless to use.
Yeah,
it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
for sure.
I liked her. Do we need to talk? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just say I'm not a big fan of the men. I don't like bullies.
That's fair.
And they seem like bullies to me.
Dude, especially Corin Nander. Love Corin Nander, but especially Corin Nander.
Yeah.
Everybody else was at least trying to follow some kind of protocol, and then Corin Nander just shows up and starts beating things.
Right? That's what he does.
Yep. Why they got him out of space prison.
Yeah, that guy was a turd.
Do we need to talk about the Turn A, the design? Because I love it, but I understand why a lot of people don't.
It is definitely not the best Gundam design for sure for me.
Okay.
Do that. I don't like the mustache.
I keep it on my desk because I love it.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Jon
Snow gets killed.
Right. I love the line work in it though, and I think that's part of my love for
it. Only you could like that mustache.
That's fine. They made it for me. I do love the sumos though. I think the sumos are a really interesting design. The little round heads that sound like a man coughing when they turn.
Right, and they've got some different suits designs, different setups that are kind of interesting, right? For the time that it's in. But it does, I think it's got some things going for it. A lot of the other ones didn't have. One, it's in the same universe as Emerald. It's just so far in the future, it doesn't really make a difference. And then, so at least you have some, though it may not seem to make that much of a difference, at least you have some aspect of knowing of, a little bit of history of this universe where it comes in.
When you have like the Gundam hammer and stuff, and you can go, oh,
yeah,
snooze that ad so it wouldn't end up talking. Does mean that Nightbot's going to be wrong for the rest of the stream. So just
way to go.
That in mind. We haven't got there yet. Don't talk spoilers. No, the hammer did break.
Oh, yeah.
This is no Zaku, boy. No Zaku.
So it's very good. I like it. Anything else you want to say for it, or should we move into weeks?
We're moving to week. Let's go.
All right. How's your week been, sir?
Yeah. Kind of boring. Haven't done much. Do that. I been playing Don't Starve Together with My Love as much as I can. That's not very much, but it's an enjoyable experience.
Have you been able to not starve?
Oh, God. So far, I think this game has like some of the same problems that I have with it that I do with like Fallout 4. It's like you didn't quite finish out the line of this. Like there needs to be like one. I did help Faith figure out some Lotro issues through there, so that was cool. There needs to be one step beyond what we're doing. But it's good. It's a neat little setup, and a game has been around for 10 years and still has people, getting on and playing it. Says something for the game a little bit,
Yeah.
There's plenty that don't get touched anymore.
Right.
I'll do that. So I'll do that. Yes.
Starfield.
Yeah, that's got some issues. I don't know. I played Lotro.
Yeah.
It's always fun. Going through that, getting further and further. next week or two, you should have a new horse.
Yeah.
I've been through this, so I'm not saying nothing, but you should get. We're about to head off to do training for the war horses.
Nice.
I'll do that. That'd be good. Had to have some plumbing issues taken care of. Had a new toilet put in. The old one was just messed up. So I got some cleaning to do. I got to get around to doing something. I haven't moved this room around in a while, and it's starting to get to me. But there's not much I can move around. I've got it about set, so I'm gonna figure something to do. Might redecorate a wall or something. I don't know. Kind of been a boring week.
I got you.
Do that. How has your week been, sir?
My week's been weird. I got a bunch of stuff done at the house today that needed to get done, like dishes and burn some garbage and all that fun stuff. The burnable stuff. The rest went in the can. And, just a usual cleaning up. Houses needed it for a little bit. So I did, however, finish last night. Cassette Beasts.
Yeah.
Got the final quest done. Recorded the audio for the review. Started editing that together. Still wound up pretty positive on the game. It's about 8 hours longer than it needed to be. Which is a shame, right? It's never fun when a game gets to that point where you want to see the ending, but man, it didn't have to do it like this.
Yeah.
But I think the worst one of those is still the first Bravely Default, where you have to beat the game 8 times to be able to see the true ending. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But I liked it. The final boss was fun. It wound up being still a really fun experience, and one that I think most people should beat, but I don't know that you should go for the rest of the way. I did, in fact, do that. We had a long conversation about it when I was going to start filling it out, and she was like, I do this all the time for my work. I can knock it out for you real quick. And I was like, okay. And she did.
Okay.
Wasn't going to say
one
no.
day you'll learn to write for yourself.
Look, I used to have to fill those things out all the time. I'm not going to complain if somebody wants to do it for me. That's a win-win, in my opinion. But I also, during the course of all that cleaning and everything, we're about to have an ad start, but I listened to an audiobook called The Watcher in the Rain, which is a 40K audiobook, but it kind of doesn't have, it's like the barest minimum you need to know about 40K to understand what's going on. Because it is a side story thing off on its own planet. It has nothing to do with any of the major factions. It is just a horror story about an hour long on a planet where the rain won't stop falling because of a warp storm. And it's really good. I liked it a lot. I think this is one of those that even if you don't care anything about 40K, you should check out because it is pretty dang good. It does have some like 40K isms in it, like there's an Inquisitor in there, or an Interrogator at least, trying to become an Inquisitor, and they have like servo skulls and stuff going around, but otherwise it's just a horror story in space. Absolutely worth it in my mind. I'll take a sip while our ad break goes.
Fine. Get you a sip.
I enjoyed it immensely. I like having snippets of story that doesn't have anything to do with like major world-ending stuff.
Right.
Because
it fills you in on the people.
Yeah, and in a universe that big, there should be stuff like that, you know?
Right.
Kind of like Igloo, where there should be little stories happening as well, along with the big story.
Yeah.
Good.
Excellent.
Then, trying to wait for the end of the ad, but it's in 7 more seconds. I might as well just keep going. Then, I've still been playing Like a Dragon Gaiden.
Okay.
That's really good. There's some pretty heartfelt stuff that has already happened. Some people that have absolutely recognized my boy Kiryu for who he is, and he is staying true to his don't know who that is. And it's very, very good. Don't want to spoil too much, but I really like it so far. I'm sure some really, really good acting already, because at this point we're so far into the studio's life that the ad, I'm assuming, or the game, but where it's this far into the studio's life where they are now doing like full rotoscope, that is the actor's face.
Yeah.
And so you can see all of like the little detail work of the actor slightly raising an eyebrow when they go to speak, and it looks really good, even if the rest of the engine doesn't necessarily look that good, you know. But
okay,
performances are great, and I like that game a lot. There was something else that I wrote down somewhere and forgot where I wrote it down. It's important that I wanted to bring up, but I guess it's not.
Yes, not.
Good book, good games, good stuff.
All right.
We'll move on to reviews.
All right.
Starting this week with a VR-only title. We don't normally cover these, but this one is kind of a big name. This is Assassin's Creed Nexus.
Okay.
You ever wanted to be the assassin?
Not really.
This is how you do it.
Not really. It's VR.
Yeah.
It's not the world I want to be in if you're going to plug me in somewhere, okay?
Right.
I'm going to say 54.
Okay.
I don't think they are where they want to be with VR, and I don't think they have it, even with haptic feedback and all that. Trying to take too many shortcuts.
Before any of you get upset with me, yes, there are only 9 reviews. It's a really light news week, okay? The score is 80.
Okay.
The 86. So I've got a few blurbs for you here.
Yeah.
Gaming Trend says a showcase of what's possible in VR. Assassin's Creed Nexus in VR delivers a completely unique foray into the world of Templars and Assassins, but in a first-person perspective, and frankly, there's nothing quite like it. While the Quest 3 isn't up to the task, making for some wobbly frame rates, the game is thankfully a nausea-free experience you'll want to continue.
Okay, look. You can't say nausea-free experience.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm not going to have any problem with it. You can't play it.
Right.
You know, it's nothing. That's just the way it is.
Yep. I have no depth perception in my left eye. 3D doesn't work for me.
Assassin's Creed is not, and they've done. Assassin's Creed drives me nuts because there's some amazing stuff in there. The first game was like surprising. Like, what is this? Never been done before. And a little while later, it's like, will y'all stop making crap?
Yep.
Yeah.
It should have stopped at Black Flag. It was great there.
I did enjoy Black Flag. I haven't played either of the new ones. What is it? Egypt?
Yeah. And then Norse Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
I remembered.
Egypt is not doing good because the last Total War was called Pharaoh.
Yeah, right.
Really, it's crap.
Yeah. I did remember my other thing for my week, and if there's time later, I'll talk about it. But right now, the other blurb I have for you is Games.ch out of Germany says, let's take up the initial question again. Does Assassin's Creed Nexus retain the essence of the series? Yes. The use of well-known characters alone ensures that series connoisseurs immediately feel at home here. Unfortunately, this also applies to excursions into the real world between chapters, which you could happily do without because they disrupt the flow of the game. The transformation into virtual space does not harm the proven gameplay at all, even if the complexity of the acrobatic movements is of course somewhat designed for a feasible and frustration-free gaming experience. The climbing moves and combat moves are two very solid cornerstones that make Assassin's Creed Nexus an entertaining action game that may be a tad too easy for professionals, but the bottom line is quite convincing.
Okay. I'm a little confused. You said it's out of Germany?
Mm-hmm.
But it's .ch.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense to me either.
Yeah.
They seemed a little confused to me too.
Well, I mean, there's no... If you find a stamp and it doesn't have any country on it, it's probably an English stamp.
Right.
England doesn't have to put anything on the stamps. They came up with stamps.
Mm-hmm.
The internet, we get .com. Everybody else has a country designation.
Mm-hmm.
And .ch is not Germany. I'm probably worried about something else with that, but
it looks to me like games.ch is what it originally comes from, as I mentioned, which is the world of games, and looks like anybody can, from any country, can put a review up there.
Okay. Started out with an 80. I'm going to drop down to 76.
Okay. Egypt, Spartan, Viking, Baghdad. That's the order. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of... Is it really? CH is the switch? Okay.
Good to know.
That's what I said, Remoth. Yeah, everything you do in VR kind of makes you look like a twat from the outside. That's yeah. Nothing you can do. I just... That's the way it works.
Yep. The score is 78%.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Close.
Yeah.
Next up is Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. The newest in a long-running franchise.
Yeah, could you name a game I could be less interested in? I thought the first one was something I wouldn't care about, but this one.
The best part is that it was like the original game was Naruto Ninja Storm, and then it was like just continuously longer and longer titles.
Yes, yeah, that's there it goes. 77.
Okay.
-3. Not Naruto fans around here, just say it.
I like Naruto. I don't like Boruto. Game is one I would probably never play. But I do have some insider info about this one, which I will share in just a moment.
Okay.
Score is 70.
Okay.
So the insider info that I have before I read these reviews to you, blurbs, is from Will, who has played this game, and says that you are better off if you want to play through the story, just playing the older games.
Yeah.
Apparently it won't let you make a private lobby on your own. And it just breaks whenever you try to do the story missions. So just keep that in mind before I read these blurbs for you.
Okay.
Games.ch says Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm's Connection is undoubtedly the most complete and extensive game of the worldwide popular anime hit to date. Although there are no major innovations, fans, and of course all those who want to become fans, can pick it up without hesitation, thanks to the large roster, 2-story campaigns, and beginner-friendly action game. Which is... You could put that and say that's for basically any game, and nobody would know the difference.
Okay.
But Final Weapon says Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections ultimately falls short of the lofty goals many had for it. Although the gameplay changes are refined and welcomed, an overall lack of content depth looms and makes me yearn for more. Ultimately, Storm Connections is a title I recommend waiting to pick up, as the content is not justified. $60 price point. I thought the other review said there were no innovations. How strange.
68. I'm going with 68.
That's fair. The score is 53.
All right.
So, despite the fact that they gave it a high average score, they did not recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Finally, for reviews tonight, we have Super Mario RPG.
Okay.
Before anybody goes for guessing scores here, I will remind you the original Super Mario RPG is one of the highest rated games on Metacritic.
Yeah. I'm afraid this was going to be too. I think it's going to be like 98.
Okay.
Remake.
Score is 84. Remus was 1 off.
Oh, dang.
Out of 57 reviews.
Oh.
This one was tough because anytime a new Mario game comes out, there's always a bunch of people that just want to get on the back of the box, you know?
Yeah.
So it was hard to find reviews, blurbs that I was happy with. But I think I found a couple that are pretty good. Destructoid says Super Mario RPG is an all-time classic game that both RPG lovers and Mario fans alike owe it to themselves to play. This Switch remake brilliantly preserves the spirit of the original SNES game with some great quality of life enhancements and a phenomenally redone soundtrack. Longtime fans looking for a more transformative remake may feel disappointed when the core game itself is aged this well. It doesn't suffer in the ways a lesser title would. If you've never played Super Mario RPG, or if you simply want an excuse to revisit it, this remake is for you.
Okay.
And then, but why though, says Super Mario RPG does a great job of mixing charming characters and fun, intuitive gameplay into an easy-to-enjoy package. Despite a few stumbles along the way, this classic journey largely lives up to its reputation, giving fans, new and old, something wonderful to experience.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with an 82.
Okay. The answer is 96%.
Oh my gosh. All right. Good for Mario.
Congratulations, Mario. Almost fully recommended by every reviewer.
Okay.
Somebody said they didn't like it, though. Keep that in mind. All right. Well, that leads us to announcements.
Both answers.
No one. Screamed. I know you're excited for this one because it is DLC for Gas Station Simulator. It's the Tidal Wave DLC.
That's all that needs.
You know, you might have got tired of the desert. You ready to run a gas station on a cabana and on a beach?
That game's not bad. It just got more bugs than a cheap motel. It's
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage indeed. The other weird thing is the trailer has like a shark in it at the end, and they're trying to be like menacing with the shark swimming. How is this game supposed to have shark interaction?
well, when the water comes up on the land, so the animals that are in the water.
I guess so.
Look at that. See,
It was just such a weird announcement. Quote opportunity there, which is curious. I don't must have missed the reference.
Bugs in a bake sale. All right. I use mine and I stand by it.
But that's really all we know about it so far. We don't know any prices or anything like that. So
Gotcha.
then we have Sonic Dream Team. Now, you know me. I love a good Sonic game. I love a new announcement for a Sonic game that could be a good Sonic game. I got even more excited when I saw that this was a Sonic game that was going to bring back Cream and Cheese, who haven't been in a mainline Sonic game for a while. This Sonic game is going to have you in your a dream. Eggman traps everybody in a dream. Hi, Will. And they have to, they have to try to find their way out of it. But as Remus just pointed out, it's an Apple Store exclusive.
Slow down, Will.
All right.
Oh. They crushed my dreams.
Pretentious Sonic. That's what it is.
They crushed my dreams.
Ugh.
How you gonna tell me we're bringing cream and cheese back, but they're Apple exclusive? How you gonna do that to me, Sega?
Well, look, it is not my time to talk. Coming here starting this crap. I know for a fact I can outrun you. Unless it's downhill. I'll get you one day. One day we'll figure this out. Hold on.
I can't tell.
That's not right. Hold on. Fine. Go ahead, Trey.
I can't outrun it. No, it was just really disappointing to me. I got all excited when I saw a new Sonic game, and then they have like an animated intro they revealed for it, where the music's really good, and the characters are getting to do cool stuff, and then at the end it goes exclusive to Apple Arcade, and I'm just like...
That sounds so... Yeah.
How could you do that?
It's like all the shows they put up for, they put up this cool looking show for an ad on YouTube and like, hey, what's this? Only available on Paramount Plus. Well,
yep.
I won't watch it then.
Yep. Glad for those people, I guess.
Yeah. They get to see it. Apple also has something else. I was like, dadgummit. It was just on that. I think it had to do something with the new Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it Majestic? What was the name of the company in the Monsterverse?
Ooh.
I think it was Majestic.
Something like that. I believe it started with an M.
Yeah. Getting threatened by Will. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what is going on.
Hey, that man has fully mastered Trans Am. I'm just saying, you should be cautious.
Right?
You should, and he's got hundreds of waifus in Fate Grand Order. You should be careful.
All right, look, short distance race. You got me there too. I won't be able to keep up the pace for that long. You got me there. That's twice. Gummit.
All right.
I'll try again later.
Let's move into the news. Remember when I said earlier it's a slow news week? We got some info on Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This is the full game that's coming out in January. That's Kasuke Ichiban. It's the turn-based game. They revealed a few new dynamic options to it. Thanks, Phil. In the previous game, Like a Dragon 7, Yakuza Like a Dragon, you could not move in combat because it was turn-based, right? Your characters would move to the enemy and stuff. It led to some really interesting tactics where you had to be careful what abilities you used because your characters would move to use them, but you couldn't free move, so you couldn't move them out of danger from like AoEs and stuff like that. In this game, you're just going to be able to move. You're still going to be bound to the turn-based combat, but you'll be able to move, except for if you're playing as Joe Ryu, who's definitely not Kiryu, who can use an ability to just ignore the turn-based combat.
That's helpful.
6.5 miles an hour. Goodness.
Hey, well, you made your point. Leave me alone. I got like 10 feet. 10 feet, okay? Give me that.
I don't blame you for liking the full action. I like both, and that's why I really like that you can break the law as Kiryu.
Breaking the law.
But another cool thing they added in this one is called Smashdown, which means that if you go, or Smackdown, sorry, not Smashdown, Smackdown. If you go into combat with a enemy that is much lower level than you, you could choose to instead just smack them down and instantly win. You get less money from beating them that way, but you still get XP. So if you're just trying to grind out your jobs, you just smack them down and you're good. I think that's a cool new addition.
Look, I'm trying to keep up with chat here. So far, all I know is that apparently Judge Dredd voices Kiryu and is the law.
Kiryu has a song that he sings because you can go sing karaoke with him, and he sings "Breaking the Law." Really
if
good.
you ever have reason to do karaoke in the Philippines, do not sing "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
People have been killed for that.
Okay. I will not do that then.
And like pulled out a gun, they shot the person who did it, and nobody else was like, "Yep."
All right then.
Yeah, just to let you know.
I appreciate it.
You know, if you're planning to head there to boost your karaoke career or what.
Was not, but I appreciate the knowledge.
I don't know, but like in the past 2 years, 12 people have been fatally killed after singing that song karaoke.
That's an SCP in real life, right? Like,
hey, I don't know. I'm just giving you the facts. Okay.
Speaking of facts, Will says that he can go 6.5 miles an hour for 10 hours straight.
Yeah. Couldn't give me nothing.
Another thing that I think is really cool is that they give you a reveal of the character exclusive jobs here, which does reveal which characters are coming back from the previous game. I won't spoil who those are. I was really excited to see the list, but that's not to say there couldn't be more characters that haven't been revealed yet that are coming back. But one of the characters from the previous game was the Black Mage, and he was a guy named Nanba. And Like a Dragon is a really, like, the turn-based one, before they changed the names, is a really fun game because Nanba is a homeless guy, but he's the Black Mage, and he gets his power from his hatred at the system that has crushed him down, and his desperate desire to live even without funds. And it's just, he's coming back, and his new class is called Homeless Guy.
Okay.
He has embraced it.
Right, might as well.
So, all for it. All for it. Super stoked for this. They did reveal some of the new jobs. I don't necessarily want to spoil that for everybody because some of them are really cool, and I kind of wish I didn't know they were going to be in there until I unlocked them. But there's some really cool stuff. I'm excited for it.
Right, Owen.
Next up, in our news, we have a really weird but cool one.
Okay.
Which is that Half-Life has gotten an update.
Okay.
Not Half-Life 2, not Half-Life 3, Half-Life 1, after 25 years, has received an update on Steam.
Now you don't have to run it in compatibility mode.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's not going to get a full life. The list is the HUD, the HUD will no longer scale the 2x size at 1024 by 768 and 1280 by 720, so now it will look normal. They fixed the networking and server browsers. It's also free until the 25th. That's very true. That's very true.
Nice.
It has fixes for overbright shaders, fixes for text alignments. They fixed one of the only bugs that still remained in that game. It took them 25 years, but they fixed it. If you had your FOV set to 0 and you zoomed in with the crossbow, the game would crash. They fixed that. It no longer does that.
That's good.
It's just really funny to me that after 25 years, somebody was like, look, we gotta go back and fix that bug. That's a problem.
Might as well. They're doing everything else.
Right?
Look into it right quick.
So, hey, it hasn't had an update in about 24 years. So, if you've ever been planning to play Half-Life, now's your chance.
There you go. And if you're a big video game nerd, you should.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually a really fun game even today. It's just a little bit aged.
Mm-hmm.
But aged well. apparently people were able to play deathmatch again with it after these changes. Oh, right.
Okay.
And so it seems like the servers are still live as well if you want to be able to play the multiplayer with it.
Cool.
That's fun and weird, and if we weren't trying to beat Liza P, we would probably play Half-Life Friday, but
Excellent.
we'll come back to it eventually. And that's really all there is to that. It was such a weird, fun little thing got revealed.
Okay.
Next up, playing some Deathmatch yesterday. Nice. Next up, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's not how you spell the word deluxe. I don't know what I was doing there. For the last 6 years has been in the top 20 selling games list every week. That's true. We're gonna do GB3 after we finish Liza P.
Priorities.
You're right. It's been 6 years, but it's finally fallen out of the top 20 in the US.
Okay.
I don't know why it stayed in the top 20 for 6 years straight, but it did.
It did. And they had a season pass with that one too, right?
Yep, they did. And that just
For like
ended.
4 expansions.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
But it puts it in a weird bracket for games that have had the longest span of still being that popular.
Yeah.
And that bracket is Minecraft, GTA 5 specifically,
Right.
Mario Kart 8, and Skyrim. It's a very exclusive club.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with everything jumping forward so fast, it is hard to keep something. You know, the next big thing is coming out next week, so
Yeah,
it's hard for stuff to stay around on top.
it is. And I think that makes it even more impressive that it stayed for 6 years. A lot of people think it's... Oh, go ahead.
And how important it is, you know, for people to ruin their friendships.
Right.
It's a solid indication.
Yeah. A lot of people think that it's fallen out because the DLC ended. And so I'm hoping that doesn't cause Nintendo to say they need to just do a season pass the way that Fortnite does, like a battle pass, so people won't stop playing it. But, you know. Skyrim count. I believe it's just in the court of public record, right? It's Skyrim was still selling even if it was a different version of it, so it's still considered there. But this is specifically just this one game, like GTA and Minecraft.
Yeah, they'll be getting ready for it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll get Mario Kart 9 announcement within the next year or so.
Yeah, probably. And they'll put the costumes from the Mario movie in there. Which is funny because Peach's costume for the Mario movie is from Mario Kart. Anyway,
Bless you.
thank you. So sorry, everybody. Let's talk about the KOTOR remake. So,
Not ill.
I mean, you know, Knights of the Old Republic remake, thank you, was in trouble last time we talked about it.
Yeah.
It had moved production companies again.
Yep.
The ports to the Switch were incomplete. But the remake was still being worked on as far as we knew. However, Jeff Grubb went on record Friday morning and said that, and I quote, "I just want to clear that up. This game is not being worked on right now. Just full stop. This game is not being worked on in any way at any studio."
Oof. Yeah, they're gonna put Chris Pratt's costume in the Mario Kart 9. It's just gonna be the one from Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, right.
Not the Mario movie.
Yeah. So it is currently dead in the water.
Yeah.
There were more questions that were asked to Jeff Grubb afterwards, and again, I'll give an exact quote. I'm sorry, not Jeff Grubb. There were more questions that were sent to the CEO of Embracer, who currently owns
Embracer Group.
Embracer Group. and owns the Asper Media and Saber Interactive and all the companies that were supposed to be working on it. He said, I noticed that anything I say to this, talking about the game, becomes a headline, so that is my only comment, which is to support what Jeff Grubb said.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not happening. It could happen eventually, but it's not happening for at least 4 years, because nobody's working on it. What's really funny to me about this?
Have AI working on it.
Right.
And fixing it up that way.
This is the second time they've tried to remake KOTOR, and each time this happens.
Well, KOTOR had a very, very loyal following. It wasn't a huge following, but it's very loyal to it. And I don't think there's enough people clamoring for it.
No.
Like, as much as I love Lotro, that wouldn't be surprised if it's like, yeah, we're out of money now.
Yeah.
We're shutting it down, you know?
Yeah. Well, there was a time when the only way you could get your fix for Star Wars RPG was Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
But now you can play Jedi Survivor, you can play SWTOR, the MMO. You know, you have all these different options to be able to play in that universe. You still have, much as people might complain about it, Battlefront 2 if you want to shoot in that universe. You have Squadrons. I think you can still play Galaxies. Like, it's not the same world that it was when KOTOR 1 came out and blew everybody away at the idea of being able to be a Jedi, you know?
Yeah.
And I love KOTOR 1, but it's not the same anymore. It is unfortunate. Finite.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dead in the Water, let's talk about Immortals of Avium.
Yes.
Because the director of Immortals of Avium has come out on record and said that the reason the game didn't sell so well is because of Baldur's Gate 3. That if Baldur's Gate 3 hadn't come out, that Immortals of Avium would have been a big hit.
No, there's nothing that looks catchy or new about Immortals of Avium. It looks like.
Oof,
I realize some people make a thing with it. It looks like a few of the back in the day, the Korean MMOs that came out would have lots and lots of players on them.
Oh yeah,
no doubt, but they just didn't last very long. You know, Queen's Guard and there was a bunch. Yeah.
We releases. I guess it sucks to suck.
Yeah.
Will redeemed. You shall not pass.
No.
Yeah, it's such a dumb statement in my mind to go, well, the only reason our game didn't succeed is because Baldur's Gate 3. When look at all the other games that have succeeded this year, even though Baldur's Gate 3 came out. Armored Core 6, Alan Wake 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. But that's
sloppy.
Instead of like stopping, taking a look at what you've done with your world, the art, the story that you're putting into it, the gameplay you're offering, and going, hey, why didn't this catch? It's easy to blame somebody else.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, don't forget Exoprimal. Yeah, I mean, Exoprimal is just... It's so good. It's such a good game. He's been dragged for this, as you might expect, which, you know, he asked for it in a lot of ways. Not saying anybody should go out and attack the guy, but
every game company that did not put out Baldur's Gate 3 can say, yes, our sales would have been better.
Right.
If Baldur's Gate 3 hadn't come out.
Right.
Last year, they could have probably said the same thing for Elden Ring.
Yep.
You know, I didn't hear God of War going, well, dadgummit, we would have been the best if Elden Ring had come out. You know? It's just it's just lame.
Instead, they were praising Elden Ring. You know, like, how crazy it is that developers might want to take up for each other and say how proud they are of each other's success instead of just getting angry.
Well, this sounds a lot more like a director's comment.
Yeah.
Who has babied and nurtured this whole thing and sees it as perfect.
Yeah.
There's in the history of filmmaking, there's been movies that have come out and it's like people are like, that movie's crap. And the director is like, no, you don't understand my genius.
Yeah.
You know, type thing. It's just a lame excuse. It's an argument.
It is. And to be fair to the guy, he has come back and he says clarified. It's less a clarification and more a attempt to like, oh no, that's not what I meant. Actually, what I meant was it was poor planning on our part to release around the time Baldur's. We didn't think it was going to be that big. We thought it would be a safe release window. Like, yeah, but your first statement still stands with that argument.
Yeah.
So.
No. That's a different, that's a little bit different argument than what you first said.
Mm-hmm.
If you came out and your game did okay and you're like, hey, I think we'd have got more, but you know what? This one game came out that blew everybody away.
Yeah.
And we couldn't compete. That's one way of saying exactly what you're saying without sounding like, you're bitter about the whole situation.
Use that one first.
Yeah. I don't know.
And lastly for news, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Lastly for news, told you it was a light news week, chat. Game Maker has released an updated. This is not Unity again. Let me clarify for you, chat. They have updated their policy for how their subscriptions work and everything there. And it's actually a pretty good update, I think. So, if you're using it for non-commercial use, if you're making any kind of aids for a game or for a project for school, or you're just making a game for fun, Game Maker is now free for you. You don't have to pay a dime.
That's good.
If you're using it for commercial use, instead of using the current method, which is subscriptions, and you pay so much a month to be able to use it, it's going to just be a one-time license fee. And then you own it forever. I did see the trailer. Thank you for sending it to me. For Gundam Seed's new anime that's coming.
Okay.
But I think Game Maker's weird in that it's not as big a name as a lot of the other ones, but some of the bigger indie games have been made on Game Maker, right? Hyper Light Drifter, Nuclear Throne.
Is this
movie? Thank you.
There's been this one. There's been multiple versions of this.
Mm-hmm.
RPG Game Maker, right?
So this is the engine that those are shoot off from. That's technically a side project of the same engine, but because the RPG Game Maker, Action Game Maker, and all that stuff, they're derivatives of the original engine, which is just Game Maker.
Gotcha.
If you just want to make something fun for your friends and you don't want all the special tools that come with like RPG Game Maker, then you can just use this for free. But if you want those special tools, you're still going to have to buy RPG Game Maker. One-time purchase, but...
Right.
So, what those prices are, we don't fully know yet. Hopefully, they're reasonable. But...
Well, I'm sure they'll let us know here in a few days, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Since we have so much time, we can go straight to your corner, or I can tell you about the thing I forgot from my week. Which would you prefer?
Well, go ahead and start with the thing you forgot from your week.
Okay.
So we can get your mistakes out of the way before we start my corner.
It's Baldur's Gate 3. We're firmly into Act 3 in my co-op playthrough, and I kind of hate the direction the game has taken.
Okay.
I don't think CRPGs do great when you get into big cities. I think they're at their best when you have big areas to explore, secrets to find, quests to finish, things like that. And Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3 is a huge city where there are NPCs everywhere. You can't really get away with anything because there's people watching all the time. you have all these quests, and you have these two, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, I'm trying to be vague, these two people you need to deal with, however you're going to deal with them, and they keep showing up before you to interact with you, but you can't deal with them yet. Because you have to love everything, right? You have so much that you still have to do in Act 3. You can't end it early, so they're immune or untargetable or anything like that, but you have to keep interacting with them. And then you go to start trying to do the stuff that will let you target them and let you take care of them and solve it however you want to do it. And it kind of comes off as railroady in a way that the game hasn't really been up till this point. And it's really frustrating me. We wound up in an hour-and-a-half long combat sequence trying to escape from an area because some NPCs that were being controlled, when you killed a specific enemy, they became allied unit. So we went into the next area that was attached to it, and there were more of those NPCs being controlled, and we took out the one that was controlling them, and they didn't become allies. We didn't want to kill them because we knew they were being controlled. We couldn't talk to them because the game doesn't allow you to talk to enemies. They shouldn't have been enemies because the other ones weren't enemies anymore. So we looked it up, and well, they're still enemies because we didn't do this other thing somewhere else in the city that we didn't know about, even though the first ones weren't enemies after we helped them. So we had to just run away while constantly getting peppered with spells so that we didn't kill them, just to leave and find out that we have to go through another huge chunk of the city, passing a whole bunch of people that need help with different stuff, just to be able to get to the thing, to be able to free these people, so that we can go back and talk to them and finish that quest. It's too full, in my opinion.
Look, if you'd have paid attention and knew what you're doing the first time, you wouldn't have had all those problems.
How would we have known?
That's not my concern. You're getting into details now that are unimportant. Unimportant.
The camera really struggles with all the buildings. It doesn't like going inside buildings and up multiple levels and down multiple levels, and that's all this city is. It is an upper city and a lower city, and as you're moving through them, there are times where I have wound up getting in trouble with the law because I stepped into restricted territory because I was trying to click on a thing, but the game thought I was trying to click on something 2 floors below, and I went into a restricted area when I was trying to figure out where my character was going instead of just going up the ladder onto the thing I thought I was clicking on. Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just glad somebody agrees with me.
And then the most egregious part of it is for the entire game, anytime that one of your partner characters gets into a thing with their story, you're able to ask them, hey, what do you want to do here? So that you're not forcing your will upon them. In Act 3, the only one that we ran into so far where that happens, you didn't get to ask them what they wanted. You just had to tell them. And it was like a very important choice for them as a character. And it was, you tell them what they should be doing. You tell them where their moral compass should be. And these people have been people for the entire campaign so far. With their own wills and their own opinions. And so it feels really weird that in this most important conversation this character will probably ever have in the game, they just don't have the option to speak for themselves. And
not about that. It's all right to be dominating, but you need to have full informed consent.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a safe word too, but
yeah. So it just feels like by the time you get to Act 3, the game was. I'm not trying to say the devs didn't finish the game, because the game definitely is finished, right? But it feels like there was less time spent on Act 3 than there was on Act 1 and 2, because it's got so many more bugs. Yeah. Got so many more bugs. All of a sudden, there are Dragonborn everywhere when they haven't been anywhere else in the game, and that tells me where they were at.
The wrong part of the city,
right? That tells me where they were at development-wise. It's unfortunate because I have been absolutely 100% loving Baldur's Gate 3, right. And then I got to Act 3, and it's bugs everywhere. It's unable to navigate through the city because of the way the camera works well. And then this really annoying thing of the bad guy keeps showing up in front of me, and in regular D&D, it may be a bad idea to just swing on him, but I could have done it, but I can't because they won't let me because it's not time yet.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not what the rest of the game has been, and it almost feels like a different team was working on it, even though I know that's not the case. It's just unfortunate. Hopefully it redeems itself in the end. There's been some cool side stuff we found where we got to do dungeons and we had control again and we could do whatever we wanted. But it's also got to the point where, you know that problem you have where 5th edition D&D party gets pretty high level, and then the only real way to challenge them is to throw a bunch of nonsense at them?
Yeah, it gets silly after 12th level.
Yeah,
For sure.
we're at 11th, and every fight has like 15 plus enemies.
Well, you've only got one more level to go.
Mhm.
Then.
So
Even they stopped at 12th level because it sucks after that.
Yep. But I do still love the game. I love the character interactions. I love the stuff I can do with it. I love finding cool loot and completing quests. Just when it's kind of like you walk into the town and they go, all right, here's 30 quests. It's like, well, I just came off a huge moment in Act 2 with a great boss fight. I'm ready to finish these guys, you know? And then, nope, momentum dies. And I feel like there'll be a lot of people that will replay the game, get to Act 3, and go, you know what, I'm good. Time to go back to Act 1.
Yeah. Maybe.
But anyway, I'll stop ranting. Let's throw it over to your corner.
Okay. All right. So, as normal, we always start this off with a birthday.
Okay.
And I want to say happy birthday to Carly Rae Jepsen,
Oh,
who I still haven't called.
you should call her maybe.
Maybe. But I'm sure she's got a concert or maybe new song she's working on, doesn't have time to watch right now. She'll probably catch up later, I'm sure. So when she does, happy birthday, Miss Jepsen. And all good. I'm going through that. All right, I gotta let me clear this up so I can make sure I get the right thing. All right. Another story to bring you, okay?
Okay.
So this story comes from Spain, off the coast of Spain and Portugal. What you got over there, kind of the at the end of the Iberian Peninsula, kind of flat toward the ocean. It's the guy in your anyway. It's off Portugal, Spain. But there's been an increase in orcas like attacking boats.
Okay.
Killer whales continue to target boats off Spain and Portugal, and they've been trying to come up with ways to scare them off. They have officially killer whale attacks on vessels have been documented officially since 2020.
Okay.
And the run-ins have increased both frequency and ferocity, with orcas actually sending a few boats to the bottom of the sea, like they sink them.
Oh boy.
The most recent incident was on October 31st. Pod of the killer whales, which killer whales are huge, and they hunt like wolves.
Right.
They pack one of them, but they pod of killer whales scuttled a Polish yacht off the coast of Morocco, a little bit further south. It took them 45 minutes of attacking the yacht to get it to sink.
That would be a terrifying 45 minutes.
You know it. Yes, you know it. There's one other story like I agree that makes me go, yeah, I would hate that. One is being out on a yacht and having killer whales trying to sink it. There's another story I heard about this group of explorers. They went up to the Arctic and they got out and they were on this big ice float. This big ice float out in the water. They were doing some things. They were going to be there for a while. And off in the distance, they see a polar bear running at them and it dives off one little ice floe into the water, swims, and it jumps up on another one and keeps coming at them. And they got off before, but that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's got one thing on its mind. Now, there's been some people who've had interactions that are trying to come up with ways to deter the killer whales, right? One person said any movement that makes that action uncomfortable for them will deter them. So on the boat that they dealt with it on, he started swerving back and forth very violently. So if they put their nose up to the front of the boat, it actually get bumped by the boat, and they got bored with trying to fight it and left. One that has worked extremely well, though, and this is the point of this story. So apparently, and this is from one of the people who work on a boat from around there. Because when we had an interaction last year, I'm pretty sure that the rattling the hull by playing full volume East European thrash metal, death metal, was the game changer.
Okay.
Yes. So apparently, now look, it's just so far death metal's been the one that has worked. There's actually a Spotify playlist called the Metal for Orcas on Spotify that a couple of boats have been cranking out through a speaker that's underwater.
Yeah.
Apparently they hit a song the orcas didn't like because it actually attracted some to one of the boats.
Oh no.
They must not have had the full death metal going on. Maybe it was something else, or whoever made the Spotify list is, not on a boat.
Right.
Guns may not work actually, unless it was rather
pretty tough.
Heavy. Yeah. Heavy and light. You're probably just going to end up anything that a lot of people would feel comfortable firing and carrying on a boat like that. It would do damage, but not be efficient. And it would be a kind of rough way to send off. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. I really tried, but anyway. There is some speculation into looking into how this got started, and they believe that this is the best they got. They believe it might be a copycat revenge attacks from one incident that was sparked where Orca matriarch was rammed by the boat, and they took it personally.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. But for right now, there are some that are like some scientists or stuff that like they're just playing. And
play too rough.
They play too rough. But they point to some of the behaviors. The reason is they hate us. Yeah. They hate us because they ain't us. But apparently one little thing they talk to about might be in playfully, and they point to other habits that killer whales have. And one of their more playful habits is in the Pacific Northwest, where killer whales were caught wearing salmon on their head like a little fish fedora. For that, I don't know how to take that, but
they are both horrifying and majestic creatures.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's do that. Well, they eat moose.
Yep.
Because moose will go out and swim down in the ocean to get some stuff off the bottom, and it's like, that's like a freaky thing. There's actually a diver who got caught within cold water, was swimming through, and a moose was swimming at him, He's freaking out. Then a killer whale comes by and gets the moose, and he decides to get out of the water.
Yep. Right choice.
Yeah, I think so. So remember, if you're planning on going off the coast of Portugal or Spain and doing, some fishing, a day trip or whatever you may be doing, just remember, sick riffs save ships, and you'll be okay.
Nice.
Right on. But that's what I got. That's all I had. A little bit shorter day, but
again, we're not voting on your assignment because
Relicta.
Playing Relicta.
Yes.
Do you have any plugs? Good. Guardian Orca.
Yeah, the Guardian Orca, right? What? You win.
Congratulations.
What
for sure.
Birthday's coming out. Isn't that November 17th?
I think we might have missed it, yeah. I think it was Friday.
Dadgummit.
Yeah.
That's on you.
It is. I forgot.
You missed your day.
Yep.
I'm not on Friday.
I forgot. I should have worn red for him.
I'm disgusted. I don't even know why we're trying.
So remember, as we get into all this, Thursday we won't have a stream. Rundgren will still be playing Relicta tomorrow, but Thursday we're taking off for Thanksgiving. Friday we'll still be doing Liza P. Long stream, 5 to 9, 4 hours. Then, very true. That's a great album. True.
Thank you.
And Monday we'll be back with regular Lotro. And we'll have our regular week next week with a regular podcast too. I think I cut you off from plugs though. Do you have any plugs, sir?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I don't either. I guess we're letting you go a little bit early tonight, chat. But remember that coming up soon, on December 7th, is the Game Awards. And that'll be a little bit of a longer stream there. We'll make up for it then.
Yeah, I see I've got the list here to see how well we, chatting we do in our psychotic abilities to see the furniture.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited. I think that's going to be fun. You know what else is going to be fun? Relicta tomorrow. Be sure to check that out.
Hopefully I figure out what to do.
Until next time. How much more Liza P? Hopefully we're in chapter 7 and there's 11 chapters. So hopefully just a couple more weeks and we'll have it wrapped up.
Did you hear that whole rant about Baldur's Gate 3 earlier? There's no telling how long this game is going to take.
Look, I was just saying that the other people didn't. They turned into allies. The other people should have too when they were freed. The game never told me they wouldn't because we had to go do another. There was no quest for that.
Oh, imagine the game expecting something out of you. Expecting you to explore the world.
I did. That's how I found the people in the first place.
All right, fair enough.
But until next time, I've been Trey.
I have been Rundgren.
And this has been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum life has to offer.